Jack, there's another couple of case studies I wanted to look at. First of all, a really good one, again, illustrating how the GI tract is associated with weird and wonderful symptoms. And that was the guy in his 70s, Don, over in the States. So let's do Don, and let's do Carol, the hairdresser, as well, because that's a great one for advertising the benefits of functional medicine.
Yeah, absolutely. Don was 72, and he's actually this is just adds a bit of interest because he's actually quite a fascinating guy. So his history doesn't really matter to the steps that we kind of took, but Don was homeless from the age of 14, and so he had no family contacts in his life at all. So he described this period of his life to me. It's just to give you an idea of his character. So for about 6 to 8 years, he said he just scrapped around. He said he just sort of drifted around, but he spent a lot of time playing pool, and he became a pro pool player and made a ton of money, and said he traveled around for years with very tough people.
Sounds like an interesting guy to go out for a drink with.
Yeah, absolutely, but not play pool against.
No, definitely not.
So anyway, it maybe gives the sort of mindset of the fact that when he got in contact with us when he's 72, he said, I've had sciatica. I'll explain what that is, but there's two key symptoms of it. He's had sciatica and stomach pain for 35 years, like pretty much the same time as each other. Sciatica being pain, typically down one leg, usually. It's pain of the sciatic nerve, which runs down from the hip down the leg. So you can have that. It's very, very uncomfortable. It can be sharp to a dull ache, pain in the buttock and down the leg. Pretty much, it can be quite far down too. So he'd just been living with this, probably because he hung around with loads of tough people in his life. But he'd been living with it for 35 years, as well as his stomach pain. So we ran a consultation. We collect all the information that we want of people, because we don't just want to fire off 20 steps for people. Just go away and do this and it might be fine. We want to know a bit more and then see if we can prioritize his next key steps as far as we're concerned. So we had a little look at his timeline, his health history, and we ran a comprehensive digestive health test. It's not the only test you could run, but it's certainly a go-to in these situations. And then we ran his consultation, and we explained his results. And there was one marker on his stool test that just jumped out at us. And it was a very simple marker, but it tells us about what the immune system in the gut thinks about gluten at the moment. And that was quite high. It was quite elevated. So I asked Don, I said, well, do you have gluten in your diet? It looks like your immune system does not like you having it. We don't know what symptoms it's causing, but do you have it in your diet? And he said, I only have it in my diet kind of 10%, and I've cut 90% out of it. So I think he was comparing himself to other people, how much gluten other people have. And he said he just has a piece of toast every morning. So he was having it every day, just a little bit. And I asked him if he'd ever taken it completely out of his diet, and he said no. So we did that. We said, well, are you prepared to do that? Given this new information we've got, you might need to get it completely out, not just have a little bit in. And he did. And 2 days later, he contacted me to say that we're not exaggerating, both the sciatica and the stomach pain just alleviated, just completely disappeared, based on that one change. So it was just a perfect example. We're not going around claiming those quick fixes or anything, but he just pinpointed, based on just running that test and acting upon key information, and it just completely alleviated. I think he never had that, because we worked together for a little while. As far as I know, he's never had stomach pain and sciatic pain anymore.
Yeah, that's a fascinating one. Probably something to do with a viscerosomatic reflex or something similar, well known in chiropractic and osteopathic medicine, which is, without going into so much detail, it's a relationship of an organ with muscles in the body, or an organ with a muscle or a number of muscles, due to the shared nerves coming out of the spine, spinal branching and things. So a problem in an inflammation in a stomach or the small intestine can reflex and create neurological or musculoskeletal pain, a seemingly unrelated area of the body. When you trace where the nerves go back up to from the muscle, they go to the same junction where the stomach and small intestine come in the spine. And so there's a communication from one to the other there. So that's probably what happened. We don't know for sure, but that's something that that is probably worth mentioning. Now, that just again shows you how, I mean, he could, I think, if I remember correctly, he'd spent like $25,000 seeing specialists here, there, and everywhere to try and treat the sciatica, using methods to manipulate the mechanics and structure of the body, and got pretty much nowhere, because that wasn't what was causing it. It wasn't a problem with his hips or anything like that. It was actually a stomach, small intestinal problem. Whereas the lady before needed the structural and mechanical work to resolve digestive symptoms. So it's almost like the other way around. She needed structure and mechanics to dissolve to sort the digestion. He needed to solve the digestive problem to sort the structural and mechanic situation.
Yes, exactly.
It's a great way of how all of these different things interact to create a different pattern of symptoms in different people.